Namo Narayana, welcome back. We are working through Adi Shankara's Aparoksa Anubhuti. Let's go in, see what he says in today's little bit. Similar to the ignorant one, seeing a snake in the rope and a silver in a shell, the foolish sees the Atma in the body. Similar to the ignorant one seeing a pot in clay and cloth in threads, the foolish one sees the Atma in the body. Similar to the ignorant one seeing ear studs in gold and waves in water, the foolish one sees the Atma in the body. Similar to the ignorant one seeing a man in a tree and water in a mirage, the foolish one sees the Atma in the body. Similar to the ignorant one seeing a house in pieces of wood, seeing a sword and a piece of metal, the foolish one sees the Atma in the body. Due to sheer ignorance, one sees the Atma as the body, similar to one seeing the reflection of a tree in water and assuming it is the real tree. Due to sheer ignorance, one sees the Atma as the body, similar to one assuming everything on the shore as moving while he is traveling on a boat. Due to sheer ignorance, one sees the Atma as the body, similar to white appearing as yellow to the one having an eye defect. Due to sheer ignorance, one sees the Atma as the body, similar to the one finding everything as defective due to the defect in his eye. Due to sheer ignorance, one sees the Atma as the body, similar to the one seeing a rotating firebrand and assuming it is the sun. Due to sheer ignorance, one sees the Atma as the body, similar to the one seeing things from a very long distance and assuming that they are small. Due to sheer ignorance, one sees the Atma as the body, similar to the one seeing things through a magnifying glass and assuming that things are very big. Due to sheer ignorance, one sees the Atma as the body, similar to the one assuming a body of water as a glass and glass as a body of water. Due to sheer ignorance, one sees the Atma as the body, similar to the one assuming that a flame is a gem and a gem is a flame. Due to sheer ignorance, one sees the Atma as the body, similar to the one assuming movement of the moon when really the clouds are that which are moving. Due to sheer ignorance, one sees the Atma as the body, similar to one who loses his sense of direction due to confusion in his mind. Due to sheer ignorance, one sees the Atma as the body, similar to the one assuming the moon is unsteady, seeing its reflection in water. Due to ignorance, Atma has the delusion about the body, but this vanishes once there is realization of the Supreme Atma. When one realizes that the movable, the immovable, and the universe is all Atma, and nothing else, everything except the Atma disappears from his thought, and there is no room here to think that the body is Atma. O great wise one, always try to understand the Atma while you are undergoing the results of prarabdha, for it is not proper to feel distressed about it. The theory that prarabdha does not vanish, even after the realization of the Atma, is being denied based on principles of Shastra. With the realization of the Atma, the thing called paratma disappears, similar to things seen in a dream, disappearing as soon as one wakes up. The effect of action done in previous births is being referred to as parapta in this birth. But the realized one does not have any more births, and so he cannot carry the effects with him any more. Just as the body in a dream is an imagination imposed upon us, for the realized one, this body is something which is imposed on him. These being so, how can paratma come along with birth when birth itself is being questioned? The Vedas have told that similar to clay being the cause of pot, ignorance is the cause of this world. So if ignorance is really lost, where can the world be? Similar to the ignorant one, seeing a snake instead of a rope due to utter confusion, he only sees the world without realizing the reality. Once the real nature of rope is realized, the snake will not be seen instead of it, and similarly once the nature of Brahman is known, the world cannot be seen. The body being in this world does not also exist, and due to this, prarabdha also does not exist, though the Vedas speak of prarabdha for the understanding of the ignorant. All actions of man, including prarabdha, perishes when one is able to see Brahman, which is in the higher and also the lower. Thus the Vedas tell with clarity. If the ignorant adamantly refuse to know this, not only will they get involved in two absurdities, but also forsake the conclusions of the Vedas, which proceed from true knowledge. Thus ends this little section. this discussion of pravda is tied to karma, or is a discussion of karma on some level. The beginning of this, I have to confess, was kind of wearing me out, because some of the examples he was giving, talking about ignorance, I'm like, yeah, I got this, but others are just like way out there. So he says, if we see the cloth instead of the threads, if we see the ear studs instead of the gold, and the waves in the water, we're not truly seeing Atma. Because by seeing waves and by seeing water, we're dividing these things. But waves are water. Water are waves. The ear stud, and I have two of them here. One is made of gold, actually. Well, it's the small one. What's the difference between gold and this ear stud? There is nothing on this, you can just barely see it, other than a band of gold. To divide it and saying, well, this is gold or this is an ear stud, what's the difference? I got that. That was very clear. But then he goes on from here. I kind of got carried away with himself, or the world he lived in was really ignorant. That could be it. That really could be it. For example, he says that we see the reflection of a tree in water and assume that is the real tree. I don't know anybody who sees a tree in water and goes, oh, the tree's in the water. How did it get there? You're going to be pretty dumb to think that the tree's in the water. Or, let's see, when you're on a boat, to think that the shore is moving and the boat is staying still. Well, nobody knows that. We know how boats go. They move. The shore doesn't move. That would be kind of cool. If that was the case, it would also make this world a science fiction fantasy film. Nobody sees that. People who have, what he said, an eye defect, they may see white instead of yellow, or they may find everything is off. But people who have eye defects usually know they have that. They usually know they're colorblind. They figure it out at some point that other people see different things. Or this one, someone who sees a rotating firebrand and assumes it's the sun. Yeah, no, the sun's up there. It's hard to mistake anything else on Earth for the sun. Or that if you see something very long distance, oh, it must be small because it's so far away. Oh, the Empire State Building, is so far away. It's only this tall. No one really thinks that, for the most part. Unless the object you're looking at really far away you have never seen before and you really don't know. But for most of the time, we don't get that. And then the other one here was, if we look through a magnifying glass, we see something big, we don't think that it's actually big. Obviously we don't, because the moment you take away the magnifying glass, it's small. So he kind of lost track of me there, and I'm like, what the? And I'm like, who are the people you're hanging out with, Adi Shankara? Because they're pretty dense. And if they can't tell the difference between the sun and a rotating firebrand, they are not going to be getting this. I'm just like, what? So it really lost me at some point. Once in a while this happens. He just, for me, tries to hit home, and it could be a cultural thing. Maybe the world was very ignorant. But then I see what he writes, and I'm going, well, this guy's not ignorant. He's very intelligent. It would be interesting to know what the world of Adi Shankara was like. I really have no clue. And context can make such a big difference. That being said, let's end there. If you write something, there's always going to be some strong parts and some weak parts. That's just the way it goes. So until the next video, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.